HelloFresh takes the guesswork and the extra hassle out of planning and preparing delicious meals for dinner. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh gives you over 40 recipes to choose from each week. And then your farm-fresh, pre-portioned seasonal ingredients arrive at your doorstep with simple instructions to help you feel like the master chef of your kitchen. And did you know that HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout? HelloFresh has been an awesome addition to our household's dinner routine. We all get involved and cook together, following the pictured step-by-step instructions. It's a fun quality time and the meals are delicious. Give it a try and see for yourself. Go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, to get 50% off plus free shipping, go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Matthew Bivens here. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Having It All podcast. Today I am excited. I'm excited because I'm doing something that I haven't done in a long time, and that's having a guest with me, joining me on the show. And this guest is somebody who's been on the show before. She and I have had many conversations over the life of this podcast, and we actually share a bed together. So, yeah. It's my wife, my amazing wife, Sarah. What's up, baby?
Thank you. Thank you. Hi. The crowd goes wild. Hi, boo. I'm awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for having me on the Having It at All. Having It All.
You remember the name of the show, right?
Having It All podcast. Ooh, it's been a long day. Thank you. I've always been a fan of the show, truly, just as a listener. There was a time when I was up to speed with you and had listened to every single episode.
Yeah.
I am not there currently, I have to say, with having a baby and everything else that's been going on in our lives. I have not listened to every single episode, but I'm sure.
You made it through 40 or so? 30 or 40?
A lot. They would be on my drive.
Yeah.
To and from training clients or things like that. And I'm not doing that as much anymore. So, I don't have my car trips by myself as much.
It's no excuse.
I know. All right. Well, I've got some homework to do tonight, so.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on again. And the reason why I brought you on is because what we're going to talk about today is something that you are quite the expert of and about. And it was all inspired by yesterday. We were kind of hanging out. My mom had come over to the house for dinner. And on my mom's phone, well, I'll back up. My mom was present. Oh, man, I got to back up even further. So Sarah and I welcomed our baby girl Maya into the world through a home birth. We chose to do a home birth, and we actually made a podcast all about it called Doing It at Home.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. We co-host it. And so our home birth was beautiful. Maya was born right in our master bedroom. We had a small team of people there, one of whom was my mom. And my mom had her iPhone out, and she was all up in your business, filming, literally,
yeah, she was in the splash zone for sure.
Yes, she was. But what was great about that is she got some amazing video of Maya coming out, literally right there coming out. And so we just got that footage off her phone yesterday. And so last night we were watching the videos, and holy crap. I mean, it was...
There were tears.
Oh, yeah. We were both crying. And,
yeah.
And we'd watched other videos of our birth and seen other photos, but for whatever reason,
This one got well, not
It's
for
that
whatever
high
reason.
quality iPhone. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
It's that iPhone 6 quality. You get to see all the
Well
fluids.
done, Apple.
But we were watching it, and I think afterwards I noticed just how powerful you were, how just strong and vocal and I don't even beautiful it was to see you in that state, in that space of bringing Maya Earthside, and you just did it in such an amazing way. And so we got to talking about some of the things that you had done to prep yourself for birth.
Yeah.
Because you're very fit. You've been into fitness for many years. You ran track back in middle school and high school, and continued that fit lifestyle. So that absolutely helped. So on the physical side of things, you had your fitness and yoga and breathing. You really were able to tap into your breath. But there were some other things that you had done to kind of really get yourself prepared mentally and get yourself prepared spiritually. And so I wanted to bring you on the show today to talk about those things, because I know a lot of you listening out there, you're very interested in how you can power up mentally, how you can power up spiritually, how you can become stronger and happier and more whole and more complete emotionally. And really, just like the thesis of this show is about having it all and experiencing life with abundance and love. And what you do in your work, Sarah, it is you help people to really to have it all. And so, share real quick what it is that you do.
Sure. Yes. So what I would call what I do is I'm a balanced lifestyle coach. That's my title.
And what does that mean?
So what that means is I work with people in the one-on-one capacity to help them tap into a greater sense of purpose and passion and balanced, healthy living. And sometimes those are buzzwords, and I get that, be the best you and live your most authentic life. And
But you really grounded it. And
yes, I believe I have. And that's because I've experienced it. And,
Yeah.
like you said, watching me give birth, I really look at that experience as finding my roar. And after having gone through that, I see how that's possible in other avenues. So everyone isn't going to have a baby to experience that. Not everyone can have a baby to experience that.
Yeah, I'm SOL.
Right. You won't, if finding your roar is exclusive to birth, you'll be roarless. But there are other ways to tap into that, and how I believe truly for myself and for those that I work with and those that I hope to reach and inspire is through unleashing this part of yourself, this aspect of who you are that I like to call the humble badass.
Yeah.
And it's through that unleashing process, that I myself went through in the year-ish prior to having Maya. That time was integral in that experience of giving birth. But like I said, it doesn't have to be birth. We all have our versions of whatever that is, that time in our lives or that experience where we really have to dig deep, get into the grit, find out who we truly are, and come out on the other side, changed in some sort of way, prayerfully and empowered way. And that is exactly what I experienced. And so my mission is to help as many people realize that for themselves, to find their roar in their own way. And that is certainly accessible more so when you unleash your humble badass. And humble badass, like I said, it's this integration, but I really look at it as the part of yourself that is fearless, bold, unapologetic, and yet authentic, thoughtful, kind, philanthropic, like all of those pieces. That's why, humble and badass, you don't really expect to see those two words together, but that's why it's so great. That's why it's so awesome. The concept really sprung from this conversation I was having a while back with a friend about being too much. I'm using air quotes around that concept of being too much for people to handle, whatever that means. That basically it just means you're threatening, or you don't shut up, and that's frustrating for people. Or being not enough, enough. Like, you don't speak up for yourself. You're not assertive enough. You're not, if you're a female, you're not masculine enough. You're not like, I can curse, right? Like swinging your dick around or metaphoric dick to get what you want. It's like you have to do one or the other. And I was like, fuck that. That's stupid. Why do you have to be one or the other? Why can't you take, beneficial aspects of both personas, blend them together, and then create a kick-ass life experience for yourself, and then inspire others to do the same?
Yeah.
That's key. I think it's not a waste, but I think it's a lot of lost potential if you just do it for yourself and then just sit in your own humble badass space. It's like, no, put it out there and show others what's possible.
HelloFresh takes the guesswork and the extra hassle out of planning and preparing delicious meals for dinner. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh gives you over 40 recipes to choose from each week. And then your farm-fresh, pre-portioned seasonal ingredients arrive at your doorstep with simple instructions to help you feel like the master chef of your kitchen. And did you know that HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout? HelloFresh has been an awesome addition to our household's dinner routine. We all get involved and cook together, following the pictured step-by-step instructions. It's a fun quality time, and the meals are delicious. Give it a try and see for yourself. Go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, to get 50% off plus free shipping, go to HelloFresh.com/50havingitall and use code 50havingitall.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So that all of what you just said is why I wanted to bring you on, because again, we're watching watching the videos yesterday, and I've heard you with your clients. Like, we live in the same house, so I'll be walking down the hall and I'll hear you on a call, and sometimes I'll just sit by the door and just listen to how you coach and the insights and the all the observations, and I'm like, damn. You rock it. So what I want to get to and what I want you to share is your framework. I want you to share your framework, those 8 things that, people can tap into to really have a badass experience of life and to unleash that humble badass that they have within them.
Yeah. So for the context of this sit down, of this show, it's basically 8 habits, 8 habits of a humble badass. And you want me to just share them and you can ask me a question or two, or what do you want to do?
Yeah. I want you to start at the first one.
Okay.
And just kind of go through, because there is an order.
Yeah, I would say so. I think there's a progression, because as you uncover and peel back the layers of the onion for each thing, like, that's what makes it all more relevant and poignant for yourself. Yeah. So first one is owning what you stand for. And by that, I mean understanding what you're about, what matters to you, and being cool with that, and planting yourself firmly in, this is what I believe in, or this is what matters most to me. Because when you don't really know what matters to you or what's important to you, you're kind of wandering around aimlessly.
Or you're susceptible to just absorb and take on what somebody else is going to tell you is important.
Absolutely.
And what you're talking about is values, right?
Right.
Like, you're talking about...
Yes, your core values.
So you're talking about really understanding your core values. And yeah, I mean, it's so important to know what those are, to at least just put in some mental energy into figuring it out. Because like I was just saying, if you don't, you can just kind of wander around aimlessly. You can be wishy-washy. You can kind of flip-flop on things. Or you can be highly susceptible to influence from other people, whether it's in a positive direction or negative direction. Yeah.
I would say bare minimum, come up with 3 core values, 3 things that matter to you, whether it's love, health, abundance, wealth, just know what it is. And there's no judgment on any side of what it is, but being clear in it makes you a more effective person in your relationship building, your work, all of those things are a lot more effortless when you know what you're looking to experience in those things.
Yeah, and here's a simple example. Let's say you're about to get into a business partnership or take on a new job or join a community group, right? And you're clear on what your values are. So it's important to you that this community group or this job or this partnership is going to be able to fulfill those aspects of those values.
Yeah.
Some of them, maybe they don't have to have the same exact top values as you, but you want, let's say that a sense of, what's a value? Community is
Yeah, that's
high
a great
priority
one.
for you, and health and family. And your new job is just from what you understand about it, you're not going to be able to experience a lot of family, and your health is going to take a hit. So by knowing what your values are, you can simply just compare and say pros and cons and say, is this opportunity gonna allow me to live into my values, or is it gonna pull me away? That to me is a very simple way for people to be able to put that into action.
Yeah, and one more point on this habit, and we can move on, but it just kind of light bulb went off for me. You're familiar with the 5 love languages?
Absolutely.
I think understanding your values is like an extension of that. I think there's a language to your values, and that allows you to connect with other people more effectively, because you say you value love and I value love, it might look different to you than it looks to me.
Yeah.
So it's helpful to understand when you value love, what that means and how I can show up so that we can synergize, so to speak, on that value. Just like if you had a love language and I didn't know how to speak it, we'd have a difficult time of connecting and creating a fulfilling relationship.
Yeah.
So I think values are a more broad language to experience, because love language, typically you would just experience it with your partner, but value language is across the board, everyone.
Cool. And I'll put a link to 5 love languages. It's by Gary Chapman. I'll put a link to it in the show notes for this episode, which you can find on Fireside Network, firesidenetwork.com. So, okay, that was number 1. Number 1 was owning what you stand for. What's number 2?
Uncovering and unleashing your superpowers.
Nice.
And that, let's see, simply stated, there are a lot of things about ourselves that we tend to hide or downplay. And I say to fuck with that, because that's just so unattractive to me. It's one thing to be humble, but to be the self-effacing bullshit, I used to do that. Not honor or not acknowledge the awesome things about myself for what? I don't know, fear of intimidating other people or myself, afraid of what if I am that? What if I am actually this awesome? That is just we have to get rid of that. That is something that needs to be eradicated.
It's like that Marianne Williamson quote.
Yeah, our greatest fear is in our darkness, it's our light. It's that we are it. And that's that's a great point to this habit. It's just acknowledging the awesome things about you that make you so beautifully and uniquely you, and not being afraid of that. And I would love to see a new paradigm around talking about the great things about yourself, not as this boastful cry for attention type thing, but something that can inspire other people. It's how many times do you get a little stab of judgment when you hear someone talking about their accomplishments or the great things that they do?
Yeah.
We need to shift that so that you can be that is awesome.
By
and
it.
And then go do something, go make something of your own with it, rather than sit around and piss and moan at someone else doing something cool.
So I can relate to that, because I spent a lot of time, many years, comparing myself to other people, feeling jealousy and envy for people.
Yeah.
People that I never met or I never knew. It could be somebody that I might see on TV or in a movie or read about, or someone that I might pass on the street that I think is, whatever, handsome or fit or whatever it is. And when you are, what I understand and what I'm experiencing now is when you are clear about what your superpowers are, when you're clear about what you're just talented, what your gifts and your talents are, what you're great at, then you can do what you just said, and that's embrace and celebrate other people's talents and gifts and other people's superpowers. But I really think that happens when you are owning your own, you embrace your own, and you're inspired by who you are being. Then you can become excited and inspired for other people, and then like that's how I've experienced it.
Yeah. And, to touch on briefly what was the precipice for this conversation was, talking about our birth.
Yeah.
For any of those out there wanting to have children or planning, or maybe you have already and you just, a reflective process of that experience. Motherhood is an area where we really tend to downplay ourselves and be jealous of others and put other people down and judge the shit out of them. But it's like really owning my great qualities and the things I knew about myself, my gifts, my talents, and the things that I'm passionate about, the things that really light me up. Owning that and embracing all of that absolutely put me in a space to welcome motherhood. I mean, yes, they can say nothing really truly ever prepares you. Maybe you can subscribe to that belief. I feel that the things that I did absolutely put me in a place of being ready for that experience.
Totally.
So,
I mean, so for the people who say something like that, I liken it to like I'm an NBA fan, right? And
of course.
And the finals are coming up, right? So let's say you got two teams who are going into the finals who've never been there before. They've never got a chance to play for a championship. So you're saying, how do you prepare for that? It's all the stuff that you did leading up to that, right? So all the things that you did, that we did leading up to become parents is what helped prepare us to be parents. You know, it's the patience that we're able to employ now is a result of all the work on being patient with one another that we did before we ever got pregnant. Yeah. And so that's a little tangent, but that's what I have to say to people who say things like, you don't know, you've never been there, and
right.
It's something that you can't know until you experience it. It's like you can prepare.
Yeah.
All right. So number 2 was uncovering and unleashing your superpowers. So now let's go to number 3.
Number 3 is contributing to the world around you. And a lot of that is taking a look at your environments. Environment is the largest influence that we have because there's so many different types of environments, right? There's the physical spaces you put yourself in. There's your internal environment, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your self-conversation. And then your relationships are little environments as well. They're all these little microcosms. And so taking a look at all of that and seeing, how do I currently contribute to those spaces? How do I show up? And how would I like to evolve that? And how would I like to be more in those areas? And I think that's really crucial to a humble badass because it lends itself to what I like to refer to as an abundance mentality. And when you're analyzing your environments and you're making sure they're as healthy as they can be to support you in being your best, healthiest, whatever you look at everything as like a rising tide lifts all boats, whatever that phrase is. How you said earlier, being jealous of other people or judgmental, you don't have to do that anymore because if you're experiencing abundance or you're talking about the great things about yourself, that means it's just as possible for me.
Absolutely.
And that means I can tap into that too. It's not this like scarcity mine type of thing. It's everyone benefits. And that's a really great mindset to have to go out into the world with. And it's a total sign of a humble badass, in my opinion. Yeah,
and I like that you talked about the abundance. I mean, it's part of having it all, right? Abundant, loving life.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
and that, for me, is another thing that I had to learn. I had to learn how to and practice adopting an abundant mindset and an abundant attitude towards things. And, I think that can be challenging. Like, so many, I just remember being supported in my scarcity.
Yeah.
Supported in my scarcity. And then when it was continuing to be encouraged and I wasn't receiving any other perspective, then I became scarce in a whole, like every area, like scarce in relationships. If I looked at somebody who was in a great relationship, I felt like, well, that's, something off the market almost. So that I can't have it now because that person is in that relationship. And so I think that the abundance mentality is so key. And then with the environment, I mean, that simple phrase of you are the 5 people you hang around, like you are the environments that you put yourself in.
Yeah.
And so I love that you part of your work is having people to really examine those things and look at how those environments are contributing to them or, taking away.
Yeah. Totally.
Cool. So that was number 3, contributing to the world around you. What's number 4?
Find your North Star. And yeah, doesn't that sound fun? Your North Star is the thing with which you use to measure up everything else in your life, basically. Is this aligning with where I want to be and where I want to be going, or not so much? And so, simply stated, you can find your North Star by creating a mission statement for your life.
Yes.
And I think the one other time I was on your show, that's what we talked about, mission statements, because
Yeah, I think
I
it
love
was
me some
personal-
mission statements.
Yeah. I'll link to that episode too in the show
Cool,
notes.
cool. Yeah, so mission statement is just your stake in the ground of this is who I am, this is what I'm about. You know, it draws upon your core values. It incorporates the things that you're passionate about and the things that are awesome about you, and who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world. And when you make a decision, whether it's a relationship, a job offer, moving to a new space, eating a certain type of food, does this align with where I want to be at or not? If it does, great. If it doesn't, that can be great too, but at least you know that it didn't really fall in line with what you said you were about. And you don't have to judge the shit out of yourself for that. You can just say, hey, I know why I got that result because I deviated from who I say I am.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I fell out of integrity for a second. We all do it. Get back on.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I a lot of things shifted for me when I created my first personal mission statement about 4 years ago. I actually remember watching that TED Talk by Simon Sinek, the Start
yeah.
With Why.
Yeah.
And he really diagrams why it's important to have what in his framework is called a why, but it's the same as a personal mission statement. Why it's so important to have one and to start there when you're
Yeah.
making major decisions within your life. You know, the different big life milestones that you're going to face, or the different crossroads, and just to be able to, like you said, have something that you can kind of like a measuring, it's like a barometer, you know, for the decisions and the different things and the different paths that you have the opportunity to take in life. You have this mission statement that you can say, okay, is this, like you said, is this going to align? Is this going to take me closer to fulfilling my mission, further away? And then at that point, you don't have to judge it.
Right.
So,
it just is.
Yeah, and so I love all that. And links abound. There's going to be a bunch of links in the show notes. So I'll link to
Awesome.
our episode, and then the Simon Sinek talk.
Cool.
All right, so 4 was finding your North Star. What is 5?
Being intentional as hell. Intentional as hell. That means being very clear on the hats that you wear in your life. You know, we all wear a lot of hats. I think that's a thing that's, you get badges of cool and honor for doing a ton of stuff and then not
Yeah.
coming back to yourself at the end of the day. And it's really like cool
Especially as a
and hip.
parent.
Yeah, it's like your social currency is how exhausted you are and how much you haven't done for yourself. It's like that's what puts you in the rankings of like
Like how frazzled. Like how many meals in a row have you eaten standing by the sink?
how many showers have you skipped, you know,
Right.
and that makes you what? I mean,
Fuck that.
a
Like
hero,
that goes.
a martyr. I'm not interested in being a martyr.
It goes back to the like kind of the self-deprecating type of I think internal conversation, and you know, patting yourself on the back for how, like you said, for being a martyr.
Yeah, and when you're intentional as hell, you can look at things as an experience, right? Something is an experience, and it's then how you relate to it that creates your emotional response. It creates your memory of whatever it is. So you could be going along like that, doing those things, and not relating to it like it's
That's
the
true.
worst thing in the world. And cool. I think then you're even more of an inspiration that you can be going through the shit and, you know, smiling through it. And that's great. But the many hats thing, that's your roles, you know, it's who you are. So being very clear on, you know, I'm a mother, I'm an employee, I'm a manager, I'm a community member, I'm a daughter. Like, look at all of your roles and think about what they mean to you. And when you do that, you can create more of, I'm really big on the word integration. You can create more of an integration rather than having the roles fight against each other, and then the people who receive you in those roles aren't, you know, vying for your energy, your time. It can just be a more healthy, healthier balance of it all. And when I also tie in goals in this being intentional as hell. So when you're intentional as hell, you're clear on what your roles are, and then you also have goals for them. You have goals for all of the roles you play in your life, and then where you want to see those roles evolve and move into. And that's very proactive thinking. It's, we're big on 7 habits of highly effective people, you and I, and it's proactive thinking. It's beginning with the end in mind. It's all of that juicy goodness.
Awesome. All right, so that was being intentional as hell. That was number 5. Yeah. What's number 6?
Turning fear into magic. So there's this thing that all emotions take their source in one of 2 parents. Like there's obviously a slew of emotions and feelings that we experience, but there's really 2 roots, love and fear.
Ay, mija, abuelita's on her way and I still need to shop for the party.
No worries. Let's order through Instacart.
¿Insta qué?
Sí, llama. We can order groceries and more online and get everything delivered in as fast as an hour.
Everything for dinner? Carne, tortillas, limas, plátanos.
Claro. Anything else?
Just make sure the plátanos are ripe.
Get groceries delivered same day with Instacart so you have more time for family. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void were prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So if you're not coming from a love-based place, then it's fear. Mm-hmm. And I have I wouldn't say interesting. I have my own take on fear. A lot of people say like fuck fear, defy fear, like punch fear in the face, and like cool, you can do all of that. That's fine. I prefer to welcome fear in like an old friend and be like, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Now I'm going to do something different with what you've brought to me because I'm not interested in what you're selling, but I can do something else with it. Because the fear is important, on a primal animalistic level. Fear is necessary. Fear saves our lives. But it's like taking that, like where is this emotion that I'm feeling? Where's the thing that's making me believe I'm going to die? Okay, I'm not going to die. So let me shift it into something else. Because that's what fear is. It's just like, you're going to die. Or, the ego, we can get into all that great stuff. But it's just transmuting that into magic. And magic is your ability to influence yourself in a powerful way, influence someone else in a powerful way, and then in turn shift the grand scheme of life. I truly believe that we can raise the energy, the consciousness of the world around us by being more attuned to magic, our ability to create it, and that comes from shifting fear to love.
Well, that's a topic that I talk about so much on the show. You probably heard in the episodes you listen to.
Yeah.
Just this idea of fear and love, and what happens when you choose fear versus what happens when you choose love, and that's a big part of my story. It's a big part of my story because I have very clear examples of what it feels like viscerally, it feels in my body to choose fear.
Yeah.
And I did it so often that it just became this thing that I got used to. And so to shift up and to now be choosing love and to experience how much different life is and how much different life feels when choosing love, it is something that, again, I'm no stranger to. And you listening, if you listen to the show for a little while, you aren't a stranger to it either. So I'm happy that's part of the framework. I think it's dope.
Yeah, man.
All right, so that was turning fear into magic. That was number 5? No, 6?
6.
Yeah, 6. So number 7. What's number 7?
Address your body vehicle. Your body vehicle is, we're multifaceted beings. We're not just one dimensional. There's many parts to us, and this body vehicle, there's this model of you're comprised of 5 wheels. Your mental is the steering wheel, if you're the car, if you're the vehicle. And then you've got emotional, physical, spiritual, and social. those are your wheels, and it's about tuning into them and looking at them and giving them a little checkup, checking in every once in a while, and again, being that proactive stance rather than having to replace some busted tires, i.e. a huge breakdown in life or in your understanding of yourself in any of those areas. And so that's what addressing the body vehicle is. It's just checking in. How am I feeling in all of these areas, and what do I need to do to improve my relationship in them?
Now, I'm very familiar with the body vehicle as well, and I think it's worth saying that the body vehicle as a concept is something that both Sarah and I received through the Your Day Balance game. I'll put a link in the show notes to the Your Day Balance game as well. And as an idea, I think its power lies in its simplicity.
Yes.
Right? That you as a person are driving through life and you're experiencing it in these 5 different ways. You're experiencing it, through your physical body, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially. And so many of us are inflated or overinflated in some wheels and then rolling around with flat tires in others. Yeah,
sparks flying.
Yeah, you may not even have tires on the damn vehicle. Like, how many people do you know are like just beast mode in spiritual or mental? Mm-hmm. But physically,
yeah, they just let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
And your physical wheel is attached to your emotional wheel.
Yep.
So when one of those goes, the other one's going to go with it. Or, how many people do you know are just physical badasses, right? Like they just get it. They're the gym rats and all that, but they have zero spirituality about them. They have, nothing to contribute mentally. And the whole idea with a body vehicle is you want to be rolling around with 5 tires that are nicely inflated, and you're constantly checking in, to see like, hey, how's my spiritual wheel doing? Well, I haven't done anything spiritual this week, so let me go for a walk through nature and meditate, or you check in like, how's my physical wheel doing? Well, boy, I feel like I've been letting myself go a little bit. Let me get back on. Like, let me get with a trainer and reinflate that tire. Or shoot, maybe if you were like, I think like me before, I don't know, what's it, 2017 now, probably 2012, before 2012, I didn't have a spiritual wheel. So you might be rolling around without a wheel. There may not be any wheel. It's just axle hitting the ground. And in that case, you might want to say, okay, what are some small things I can do to start getting a wheel on this car? And it's such a simple yet powerful visual, this idea of you being a car with those wheels. And so that's why I love it.
Yeah, it's relatable, and
yeah.
it's something that you can, I can get a handle on that. Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's body vehicle number 7. And finally, the last one, number 8.
Finding your balance in the midst of chaos.
I can relate to that one as a parent, although life hasn't been chaotic.
It depends if that's how you want to experience it.
True. Well, I guess.
Yeah, I don't experience my life as chaotic.
No,
it could be if I let it.
Yeah, it could be. But the idea of finding balance in the midst of, maybe circumstances or rough nights or whatever is nice.
I would say chaos is the extreme. Like I just said, if that's how you experience, if you choose to experience it. But chaos, you can sub that out for, like you said, circumstance, because those things are going to pop up. One of the most consistent things there is change, and with change is going to come its own host of feelings, emotions, and all of that great stuff. But finding your balance is looking at, so this is like a habit within a habit. Finding your balance is about looking at your habits. Yeah. So one of the habits of a humble badass is to look at your habits and see how they are supporting you or not so much in your health and in your ability to find the peace in the face of shit hitting the fan, which you have talked about shit hitting the fan before on the show.
Yes, I've had many shits on fans.
A lot of shitty fans spinning around. But
yeah, this episode is not for young viewers. So I should have said at the top of the
episode.
Say
20 minutes in, yeah.
Oops.
But yeah, man, it's just about, being able to face those things with kind of a chuckle and a smile on your face. Like, this is happening. Awesome. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. I'm going to be a badass and just move on to the next thing, because
Yeah.
I've got too many other awesome things happening, too many cool things that I'm creating to waste any sort of time on this nonsense.
And the word balance itself is its own framework, and you go into that, you know, in your work.
We'll just tease them right now with
Yeah.
it, though. You gotta do some work to find out more on that. So just
That's awesome. So those are the 8 things. Those are the 8 habits of a badass.
Yeah,
I love it.
super cool.
And it's funny. A part of me was like, okay, how do you want to segue into this next conversation? But I know what you've been working on, right? I've been a part of working on different things with you, so I know that you've taken this framework, you've taken this idea of a humble badass, and you've put it into a couple of products and services. And so, real quick, share what they are and why the hell people should even be interested. Like, real quick.
Well, real quick, I mean, go back and listen to everything we just talked about, and that's why you should be interested. Don't take my word for it. Like, experience it, do it, get into it. And if you want to get into it and just, you know, I guess this was a little appetizer. This was a little teaser, an hors d'oeuvre. If you want a little bit more substantial helping, go check out the ebook of Unleash Your Humble Badass. It goes into all of these 8 things we just talked about and gives some more perspective, some more meat on the bones of what we just talked about. And that would be my suggestion. Go dive into that ebook.
And then for the person who's like, all right, great, what you said was awesome. I want to figure out how I can, you know, own what I stand for. How do I even know what I stand for? How do I identify my superpowers? You know, I want to learn to be intentional as hell. Like, they want to dive deeper. Tell them what they can do.
You can skip right over that ebook and dive into the course. It's a self-guided. I made it self-guided because people like to go at their own pace. And this is my one-on-one coaching that I do, you know, with people all over the country in your own digestible format. So this is me, you know, everything I do poured into it just in a way for you to do it yourself, because not everyone has the time or resources to do one-on-one coaching. Totally get that. Been there. And this is for you to just, you know, take at your leisure. And it's got a bunch of other cool resources for you, from audio and visual downloads to fun exercises for you to do. It's been really intentionally created and tested myself. You know, it's kind of like with a skincare product or something. Like, I would not put it out into the masses unless I had tested it on myself. So it's,
and by that you mean, like, this is all the stuff that you did and have been doing over the years.
Yeah.
And you did again as we prepared for Maya to come.
Yeah.
And you've done with all your clients for so many years. So it's, you know, you've kicked those tires.
It's been around for a minute. It's been tested, and I would not be talking about it if it didn't have a huge impact in my life. And I'm sure you wouldn't be allowing me to come talk about it if you haven't seen the impact of it as well on me, and you experience the residuals of that.
Because I'm selfish with the show.
I know. I get it. I totally understand.
So, okay, where can people check it out?
On my new website that my amazing husband created for me.
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
we did that real quick.
Pretty talented.
Yesterday.
It's sarahbivens.com. That's it. Plain and
Cool.
simple. Sarah with an H, and Bivens, like this guy over here who hosts this show. And I'm super excited about it. I can't wait for people to get a hold of this and to experience what I've been experiencing. Like I said, raise that energy, that consciousness, and no joke, heal the world. I truly believe we can heal the world.
Big mission.
With this stuff. We really can.
Cool. Well, I love it. I live it. I see you live it. I see it played out all over the place. So yeah, you're listening. Go check it out. sarahbivens.com. You can check out all her cool stuff. And I appreciate you jumping on the podcast again with me. I know, we live in the same house, and all we have to do is say, hey, let's pause watching our evening movie and podcast real quick. But I do appreciate you coming and sharing this stuff, because like I said, I hear you share this amazing insight with your clients, with people who pay you thousands of dollars, who jump on phone calls with you for an hour every week. But you're coming in here and you're laying this stuff down just because you love it and you want to share it and you want other people to find it and benefit from it. So thank you. For you listening, I've put everything, all these links. There's like a dozen links in the show notes. And so please jump over to firesidenetwork.com. That's where this show lives. That's where this podcast lives. The podcast is part of the Fireside Network. So you want to go over there, firesidenetwork.com, then click on the show, Having It All, and you can find this episode and click on it to view all the links to everything, the 5 love languages, Simon Sinek, personal mission statement episodes, 7 habits of highly effective people, all that great stuff. And I think that's it. Grateful to you.
Thank you.
Baby girl.
Thank you.
Baby girl. That's what I say to Maya.
I'm your baby girl too.
You're baby.
Baby.
Baby, yeah. Maya's baby girl. And grateful to you listening. And that's it. I'm out. My name is Matthew Bivens. And here is to you having it all.
Every day, my employees get scam emails. I wanted to protect my business and clients, so I checked out CISA's Secure Our World. They've got 4 simple ways we can protect our businesses from online threats. Learn more at cisa.gov/secure our world.